Over under .5 strikes thrown first pitch in the at bat. Class A says take the under. Class A and Ortiz arrested in this last week or so. Welcome back to Platoon Baseball Podcast. I am Jesse, along with my wonderful co-host Chris Sathy.
What's up, Jess? How are you?
Good, good. Good time to be a baseball fan, I guess. A lot of news going around lately. So we're obviously gonna have to cover some the Clase Ortiz scandal, trades, signings. All the players decided if they were gonna take their qualifying offers, and then hopefully some big free agency signings soon. We've only seen a few, not huge ones so far. So
Yeah, looking forward to this episode. I think the Ortiz Clase stuff is super interesting.
yeah,
You don't see stuff like this every day. Um, and then free agency. It's one of my favorite times of the year. I like seeing guys on new teams. I think a lot of people are like that too. It's interesting to see lineup projections and all that with all the guys who are up in the air this winter. And yeah, then we'll end it with some new TV news.
free agency and off-season trades get me excited for immaculate grids when the season starts next year.
All you need is one inning.
Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get started with the gambling scandal. So Ortiz and Clase both plead not guilty to pitch rigging case. Clase was arrested at JFK, and Luis Ortiz was arrested before that in New York, I believe, and both plead not guilty. And I know Ortiz got out on $500,000 bond. So they're going to be having a court case here come early December. I believe it's the second. They're going to plead their case to them not rigging some pitches despite some clear evidence against them.
Yeah, I think the big question is, do these guys ever pitch in Major League Baseball again, regardless of the outcome? My guess is no.
Yeah, my guess would be no too. And even if the MLB lets them, like who wants them on their team at this point? So disrespectful to the players on their teams. Like, imagine how Joe Ram feels. Guy who just wants to win. That's all he wants to do. And they have pitchers on their team intentionally throwing balls. And I know that doesn't directly impact a win or a loss, but certainly doesn't help your case.
Yeah, I'm sure if you went back and looked at it and looked at the outcome of those innings where these incidents occurred, there's probably some runs given up. I mean, the best pitch is strike one, and if we're taking the under and throwing a ball every time, I mean, we're going against that philosophy completely. So it's definitely disrespectful to your teammates, and I think it's going to have an even bigger impact on the sports betting world than we are all prepared for. I think you're going to see less prop bets, maybe times where you can take those bets or when they'll be announced. It could be closer to game time or as it's happening to eliminate players being involved in that situation. It'll really just be interesting to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, so to just give a little bit backstory, if you don't know what we're talking about, Luis Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase, pitchers on the Guardians. For Clase, it's been documented that this has been a thing since 2023. So it's been two complete seasons now, or three complete seasons. And he's has beneficiaries of information where Clase is telling people in the Dominican Republic where he's from, which at bats he's gonna pretty much throw a ball. He's gonna intentionally throw it in the dirt, and they tend to be like a slider or a splitter in the dirt. Just it's just more believable. And these beneficiaries of this information would bet thousands of dollars on first pitch balls, and they'd also bet on the velocity of the first pitch. So they most of the time it seemed like they were betting under 97 miles an hour, what these reports are saying. So the first pitch is going to be an off speed in the dirt. And there's a lot of evidence of Clase doing this in first pitches of the at-bats. A lot of videos of this. And yeah, I can't wait to hear the argument um, from their lawyers because it's pretty indisputable in my opinion.
Yeah, it just I can't wrap my head around it, Jess. This guy's made over $15 million playing big league baseball and was on pace to probably sign an even bigger deal, one of the biggest reliever deals we've ever seen. And he's willing to throw it all away to throw his buddies a bone on a couple, maybe 100,000. I don't know what the bets were completely, but he could have just given them the money and made more money playing baseball the right way. It makes
Yeah.
zero sense.
So the Clase in the reports regarding Clase alone, not including Ortiz, $400,000 was earned, and that's not for him. He only earned, I believe it was like $6,000 multiple times. So it's like not even
What are we talk?
let's say
Yeah, what
under
are
a
we
hundred
talking
thousand.
about?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it
But
just makes zero sense.
yeah, it's crazy. But then Ortiz, who makes significantly less, he got in on it just this year, not as early as Class A did. His beneficiaries' earnings were only 50,000, and I don't know how much of that he was getting. But again, not enough to warrant you to do something like this.
Part of me believes, with seeing what's going on in the NBA, that they may have been in a spot where they didn't have a choice. They had found themselves in some bad positions, kind of
Yeah.
in the way Chauncey Billups did, with maybe
Hmm.
some
The
um,
mafia.
mafia and organized crime, all that stuff. I wonder if that's kind of what we're seeing here too, and the Dominican has their own way of going about it, and maybe that'll come out more when the trial starts.
Right.
But just a crazy situation. Like you said, why throw your whole career and the potential to make millions of more instead of $6,000 every time you throw a ball in the dirt, you know? It's beyond me.
Yeah. And I will say, you talked about changes in prop bets. We've already seen a wager cap on pitch bets at $200.
Okay.
So that was pretty immediate, like a week after these reports came out. That was kind of the first thing. So you already see the MLB making changes to the sports betting scene, specifically individual pitches, just since that is the easiest thing to get away with.
I'm curious to see how that works. So does MLB control those like can they tell the sports books this is the max you can do? Do they have that ability?
Yeah, I mean that's it. This report says from CBS, MLB announces new restrictions on prop bets, so sportsbooks can only offer a bet of $200 on individual pitch props.
Okay. That makes sense, and that's a good start. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think there's going to be more actions taken as we get deeper into sports betting and what players are able to participate in. Obviously, they aren't supposed to be participating in any point of it, but obviously we've seen in the NHL, NFL, NBA, now MLB that they are. So they've
yeah,
got to find a way to either limit that or eliminate it completely.
yeah. Um, the problem is these individual pitch bets, things that don't have as much impact in the outcome of a game. Honestly, I think all the props should be eliminated completely.
I totally agree. Yeah, I think we can keep the ball knowers updated on this as the trial starts. I'm sure it's a ways out.
December
Um,
2nd
oh, December 2nd, so not too far.
is the first one. So I don't know how long it'll
Okay,
take, but
sure. Yeah, so as we get more information on that, we can we can provide some insight in what we're seeing and what we think. So,
yeah, and I do want to add, as a occasional sports bettor, I will not be betting on individual pitches going forward because I'm not sure what these pitchers are up to. But it really does hurt the integrity of baseball. Whether you're watching as a fan of the Guardians and you were in the playoffs and all of a sudden you hear that your star closer is rigging pitches for minute profits is just absolutely remarkable. And as a sports bettor, I also am gonna have to watch what I'm actually putting bets down on, these things that pitchers really do have control over. And I'm giving them all the benefit of the doubt. I don't think that anyone else is involved in this, but who knows?
Jesse's standing up with the MLB. No more prop bets.
Yeah, no more individual pitch prop bets. Like
That's fair.
I don't want to see any first pitch over 97 or under. Like that's just you could because that could be a changeup and the pitcher could be throwing that for a strike and you'd have no way of impacting the game, but it would, ruin your bet. So,
100%.
so I
Stick
think,
to 1.5 hits,
yeah, the hit. I mean, even
half a
strikeout
home
props
run.
are fine.
Yeah,
It just needs to not be individual pitch props. So, yeah.
agreed. Yeah.
All right. With that being said, why don't we talk about some recent trades and signings?
Yeah. So I would wanted to start with the qualifying offers.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we had four players accept the qualifying offers, which is 22.5 million. So basically, this is an impending free agent who has a chance to sign for the league average of the 125 highest paid players, which this year I believe it was 22.5 million. Mistake me if I'm wrong,
It was
Jesse.
like 22.025 million, just over
Okay,
22 million.
gotcha. So we had four players accept their deals yesterday. Trent Grisham with the Yankees, Gleyber Torres with the Tigers, Shota Imanga with the Cubs, and Brandon Woodruff with the Brewers. So all pretty notable guys who
Yeah.
you expect to hear their name in free agency one of these days for a longer term deal. But I think with the impending doom of the strike, some guys are trying to just make their money. If they have a good contract in front of them, they want to take it and see how that plays out. So
Yeah. Trent Grisham was one of the 12 free agents that we talked about in our free agency podcast. If you haven't listened to that, me, Chris, and Reed made our predictions on where the 12 biggest free agents go this offseason, and I had Trent Grisham staying with the Yankees. So that was good to see for me. A lot of people are saying, what are we doing here? Trent Grisham, you had the chance to go get some money, a longer term deal, and he chooses to stay with the Yankees. I don't blame him.
I don't either.
I mean, you're on a World Series contender pretty much every year. The Yankees are going to spend the big money to try to win the World Series, especially with Judge on their team. They don't want to let that go to waste. So,
Yeah, Trent, I mean, had a decent year. He hit 34 tanks, had 74 RBIs. He had a solid year. I can understand why he would want to go back. He's been successful at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees need the center field position there. So I like the fit.
I like the fit too. He's just subpar defense, which Yankee fans are going to complain about. And then this probably means that they don't keep Ballinger, which is what I said as well in the other podcast. And I think they'd rather have Ballinger than Grisham, which is also fair. But I also think you're the Yankees and you're still going to spend a ton of money, so I wouldn't worry about this $22 million offer too much.
Yeah. Yankee fans are going to complain no matter what happens. So regardless if they kept Bellinger, Grisham, kept them all, went and got Tucker, doesn't matter. Someone's going to be mad and you're going to hear about it.
Yeah.
Then
So that
after
was,
that, Glaber, who was an all-star for the Tigers this year, signed a deal as well. I think it makes sense. I think the Tigers are a piece or two away of being a serious contender to go to the World Series. And I know there's been talks of Skubal getting traded. I really hope that's not the case. I don't think that would be a good move for the Tigers at all. So I can understand Glaber wanting to come back. And I think you're going to hear the Tigers' names pop up in a free agency quite a bit this year and even potential trades.
Yeah, I think they're a starter and a reliever and maybe another bat away, which you can say for a lot of teams, but I mean, they almost won their division last year. They had a historic collapse, but they did win a playoff round as well, or a wild card round as well. So yeah, they're not that far away. And I don't understand the Skubal rumors, but they were obviously shopping him a little bit, seeing what they could get. Doesn't mean they're necessarily going to trade him, but I think that's just a difficult trade to make happen, no matter what the team is. It's just going to be a lot to give up, and you're obviously going to have to put a lot of money into Skubal as well. So I think that's just going to be hard to do.
Agreed, agreed. And then the next one is Shota Imanga. Kind of a weird situation. Nobody saw that coming when he ended up in this situation anyways. So glad to see he's back with the Cubs. I had predicted, I believe, the other Japanese phenom pitcher who got posted that he would be coming over and pitching for the Cubs going forward. I think this most certainly takes him out of that running, but glad to see him back with the Cubs. The Cubs are another team. They're a piece or two away from competing for that World Series. So glad to see him back too.
Yeah, the Cubs are interesting. It because it sounds like they're not going to re-sign Tucker. But it's possible that he goes back, but if they get rid of Tucker, I don't know how close they really are.
It'll be interesting. Astros fleece job.
Yeah, he obviously underperformed last year. I think people know that he's a better player than that, but if they're not going to re-sign Kyle Tucker, you'd expect them to make some other moves. So yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see.
I think for the Cubs, if they can't go get a Tucker, they could bring back a Bellinger
Yeah.
to kind of fit that role. Obviously, I don't think their production is the same. I think Kyle Tucker is at that, tier two level of an
Mhm.
MLB player where he's on the verge of being the premier hitter in baseball. Bellinger obviously has had a crazy career at this point, winning MVP so early on and then the struggle and now the resurgence. So I think would be a good fit for Cody to go back to Chicago if they do lose out on Tucker.
Yeah, I said Schwarber just to replace the lefty bat, but yeah, we'll see
Sure.
what they end up doing. But yeah, good for their rotation for sure to bring him back.
Yep. And then finally we got Brandon Woodruff to the Brewers. Woodruff's been hurt for a while, and I'm glad they got to keep him. When he did come back, he was shoving. So good to see him back on the Brewers and a very exciting team. Brewers fans are going to have a joy watching this team, watching this core for the next 4 to 5 years would be my guess before, free agency hits and all those kind of things. So good news for them, and hopefully he can get them closer to the World Series. Take down those Dodgers in LA. So,
Yeah. Jeff Passan said that this signing drastically increases the chance of a Freddie Peralta trade.
okay. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, and then there's others that say that these two decisions are independent, but yeah, it would be interesting. They just want to get some return on him before he potentially leaves and goes to another team, which makes sense. Um, but I wouldn't be that
Gotcha.
surprised if they went out and got a different pitcher then, if that was the case.
Yep. Totally agree. So then after the qualifying offers, actually, let's go through a list of guys who did not accept the qualifying offers.
Yeah, there were 9 players, I believe.
You are correct. It was nine that declined. So we had Kyle Schwarber of the Phillies previously, possibly previously, Kyle Tucker, Ranger Suarez, Framber Valdez, Bo Bichette, Dylan Cease, Edwin Diaz, Zach Gallen, and Michael King. So
Are you
big names
surprised?
there.
You
No,
surprised by any of those?
maybe Zach Gallen. He struggled the last year, and if you're gonna make 22.5 millions and have a chance to come back and earn a bigger deal, I think he's a guy who could have accepted and tried again this next year. But besides that, no, I think all of them were pretty set in stone.
Yeah, a little bet on yourself year for Zach Gallen potentially.
Yeah, and honestly, I think he's still got a lot left in the tank. It's just a few things he needs to fix in his delivery, and he'll be right back on track.
Yeah. And he's projected to get a 2-year, $45 million deal. Um, so I don't know
So I
if
get,
it's like you're saying, it's not that much different. So I guess that one is the one that makes the most sense. But again, not surprised that he did not accept.
so yeah, it'll be those guys are now free agents, free to talk to all the other teams and negotiate. And the teams that they are leaving, if they truly do leave, will get a draft pick out of it. So good for those teams.
Yeah. And this is not to say that they're not going to go sign with their original team. It's just that they're not going to sign that offer. Whether that's they want a long-term offer, different salary, or they want, different clauses or things like that. Um, they can now negotiate those with whatever team they would like.
That is correct. So if these guys sign with other teams, the pick will come after the completion of round four for these compensatory picks. So,
All
and
right.
then actually a few of them are a little the only one who would not be at that round four section would be Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, he's on a different
And
tier of a player.
yes, correct, because of his, I believe, possibly WAR rating. So he would be, if he were to sign elsewhere, the pick would be after the completion of the competitive balance round B. So a little different than the rest of the crew. And then after that, we can get into the non-tender candidates. So basically, for those of you who do not know what a non-tender candidate is, it is a player who is eligible for arbitration but is not offered a contract for the upcoming season by their team. This process makes the player an immediate free agent. Teams typically non-tender players because they believe the player's projected salary from arbitration is too high for their perceived value, or because they need to free up a spot on their 40-man roster. So I believe the non-tender is deadline is Friday evening. And there's some decent names out there that who, if they get a non-tendered, it's going to be a easy pickup for some of these teams who are trying to go add some depth to their lineup.
Yeah. The biggest name in there probably Adolis Garcia. But there's a lot of
Dol
players.
yeah, Dolis Garcia being one of those. Alec Boehm with the Phillies.
Nathaniel
Uh,
Lau, Ryan Mountcastle, Luis Garcia, Jonathan India, Davin Lux. There's a few good ones.
yeah, and now that we're here, two of these guys on this list just got traded for each other. We
Yeah, I
just got
think
a passing bomb before we started here that Nick Allen of the Braves has been traded for Marcelo Dubon of the Astros. So they took two guys who were projected to be on this list and swapped them. A lot of people are saying the Astros are on the wrong side of this trade, but I truly believe it's going to be very similar seasons for them next year as well. They
yeah,
already had a very similar season this previous year.
yeah, I think it's just a change of scenery for the players and the organization. I don't think either team is going to be running away from that trade. It's that much better than they were before they made the trade.
I think you're correct. So that's where we're at on this list. And like we said, that deadline's Friday, so we can get into that a little more on the next pod when we see some of the results of what happened.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's more trades between these uh, potential tendered players, I guess.
Yeah, candidates. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's more moves just so they can get something back for him.
And just something to say to the ball knowers out there. If you truly want to know about the deals firsthand, turn on the tweets for passing. You'll
Tweets
get
are,
them instantly. Tweet notifications from passing are on as soon as the World Series is over.
yeah, the other account that's been doing really good keeping up on the news is the Platoon Baseball podcast Twitter. So if you aren't following them, make sure you follow them.
That's a real good point, Jess, and you should never take off the Twitter notifications for the Platoon baseball
No, no.
podcast.
Well,
Ju-
we often retweet Passan and give our little take on what we thought of the move because Passan obviously isn't giving his opinion on it. So
And Passon beats us from time to time on the news. Eventually,
sometimes,
we'll get him on one of these, but I'm gonna expect Passon to beat us on most of them this
now
offseason.
I will say I've got him on a few this week on some of the smaller deals. He uh, he was a little late on the Ryan Yarbrough signing. I did beat him to that one. So
Okay, gotcha. Hopefully, he gave us credit.
no, he definitely didn't. But yeah, so yeah, we've been posting a lot on Twitter though, so it's been fun to do that and see some engagement. We did get a like from Bryce Trang, so shout out you,
Let's
Bryce,
go.
if you're a Platoon listener as well.
I've always been a Brewers fan, so
Yeah. All right, and then with that, with all the players taken care of there, we'd also got some news and some strong opinions on Twitter regarding the new MLB broadcast deals. So I wanted to talk about that and kind of ask you what your opinion is, as a baseball watcher and listener. The channels and organizations that are affected are NBC, Netflix, ESPN, TBS, Apple TV, and then MLB Network now being moved to ESPN. So NBC is going to take over exclusive rights to 25 Sunday night baseball games and the wild card round. The Netflix is going to secure the rights to the Home Run Derby opening day and the Field of Dreams game. And then ESPN is now the most affected. So ESPN is losing their postseason games and the Home Run Derby, but they're adding MLB.TV to their streaming library on ESPN app. This also includes in-market streaming rights for six MLB produced teams. That those six teams are the Padres, Rockies, Diamondbacks, Guardians, Twins, and Mariners. So MLB TV will remain the same. It'll be about that $150 for out-of-market game per year, but it is now going to be run through the ESPN app. So we'll see how that works. And then in addition to that, ESPN will also air 30 regular season games on weeknights during the summer months. And then just to recap all of it, Fox and FS1 will continue as the home of the World Series, LCS and DS games, All-Star Game, and 2026 World Baseball Classic. TBS will continue as home of League Championship Series and Division Series games, plus regular season games on Tuesday nights. Apple TV continues to stream their Friday night baseball doubleheaders throughout the regular season. And MLB Network will continue to air live games and their award-winning shows, but now MLB TV is going to be run through the ESPN app. Any thoughts on that?
yeah, I'm jealous of the six teams who get the in-market luxury of watching that. Being a Astros fan and living in Houston, I don't have many options. I kind of get forced into one streaming service to watch the Astros, so it's cool to see that MLB does have a few options for some teams to watch in-market games.
Yeah.
And
And some of these NBC games will also be exclusively on Peacock. I forgot to mention that.
okay, so I mean, I like that you're going to see some of the streaming service stuff, some stuff Netflix, some stuff Peacock. I mean, everybody's got the subscriptions for it now, so at least they'll get to see some live sports that they
Do
haven't
they?
maybe previously in the past.
Do they all have those subscriptions though?
Well, those who don't, you'll hear about it, but I think a lot of people do have them.
Yeah, so just from scrolling on Twitter today, a lot of people were pretty frustrated with the variety of different platforms streaming games. My take is that it is easier to be a fan of an out-of-market team than it is to be able to watch the local broadcast, which I think is horrible for baseball fans. For me to watch Blue Jays games in Minnesota, it's super easy. I can watch. the Sportsnet streams through the MLB TV, which is now going to be on ESPN. That's not going to be a problem. And it hasn't been a problem for me in the past. And I think MLB TV is a great product at a very reasonable price. The problem is watching local games, which I think is just horrible.
Yeah, it makes zero sense. I mean, why, as an Astros fan in Houston, is it harder for me to watch them play? Whereas you being in Minneapolis, it's easier for you to watch the Blue Jays play. It makes zero sense.
Yeah, I mean, I can watch Astros games much easier than you can watch Astros games.
Yeah, exactly. It's frustrating, and I know the Astros specifically they share a Houston channel with the Rockets for the games that they're being broadcasted on. So I'm curious to see when that deal is up, where they decide to go. Or do they go in the direction of, hey, we want to be a part of this in-market stuff? Or do they go like the Dallas route where Dallas is streaming like the Stars games on Victory Plus for free?
Yeah,
So, and I
Victory
believe
Plus
some
does some other teams as well. I know they do the Anaheim Ducks.
Okay, yeah. So I know there's some other teams who are doing that as well. I think maybe the Suns and Phoenix do something along those lines. So can't wait for the Astros deal to be up, and hopefully at the end of this thing, maybe not this year, but going forward, they can make it easier for the local fans to watch baseball, the teams that they support.
Yeah, I wonder if these six teams, if their fans like this deal. So from what I understand, not all the details have been released yet, but from what I understand is all you need to do is pay for an ESPN Unlimited plan to get the all of these games.
You got to be unlimited.
The unlimited plan. But it, I mean, to want to watch your local game and have to pay a monthly subscription isn't ideal. And then if you want to watch other teams play, you're going to have to buy MLB TV, which is going to be an additional $150 or so. So, I mean, that's a hefty commitment just to watch your favorite baseball team.
Yeah, we're getting out of control again. Like cable, the prices got crazy. Everyone's like, "Oh, streaming's $10. Let's switch over to that." Well, now there's a ton of streaming options that if you don't pay for them all, you're going to miss out on something. And I'm kind of back to the point where I'm like, I want one centralized thing where I can watch all of this instead of having to jump from app to app and pay for subscriptions to all these different places.
Yeah, I think people would be okay missing out on out of market games if they could watch their local team play consistently. And I will say, listening to baseball, I do enjoy listening to baseball. So on these occasional games that I do miss out on, I don't have a problem listening to the game. But for those who don't like listening, they're just going to be unable to watch it if they don't want to pay additional monthly services.
Yep. I think with this new deal and with so many partners involved, let's just see how year one goes and evaluate at the end.
Yes,
That's all you can do at this point. I mean, that's all we can really do at any point is say, wow, that sucked, or wow, this was awesome. But I don't know what to think of it right now, to be
yeah.
fair.
What I would like to see the user interface on the app. I will be honest, the MLB TV app wasn't great. Just the interface of it. Not that ESPN's is any better, but it'll be interesting because they said it's going to be a whole separate tab on there, and it's going to be very interactive, they said, with a lot of different options. So I'm afraid that that's not going to work very well, but we will see what they do. I know a lot of people are upset with ESPN recently for good reasons.
Yep. So that's all
And
I have on that one. How about you got anything else?
that's really all I have, but I am going to dox myself quick. Um, I, Parents got a new VCTV box for the living room, and you can get
Oh,
any channel you can imagine on that TV box for 285 bucks, and you never have to pay a subscription service for it.
you'll have to have them send me the link.
Uh,
I'm interested.
yeah, so the only downside is you can't stream on your phone or anything like that, and you have to have one for each TV. But at $285, you make that up in very quickly.
Yeah.
And you get I was scrolling through it just last night. You get every NHL game, every NFL game, every NBA game, every college sports game you could imagine, any TV channel you want, any movie you want. Movies that are still in theaters are available. It's you get everything you could possibly imagine on there. And if you found something that you wanted to watch that wasn't on there, I would love to know what it was because I haven't run into that issue yet. So I'm curious to see what if I can get all the MLB games on this TV box, I may be purchasing more instead of buying MLB TV and Peacock and NBC and a subscription to watch Fox on. So it'll be interesting to see what people end up doing here with all these different
Y-
providers.
You'll have to give us an update as you guys use that a little more and the benefits for some of the things you see issues with. So,
Yeah, I mean the biggest downside so far has been not being able to stream away from home.
yeah,
So
that's fair.
yeah, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting seeing how this all plays out with the TV broadcasts. And I know some people weren't happy with ESPN broadcasts, and now they're gonna have rights to every out of market game and 30 games during the summer. So certainly interesting.
It will be. All right, I got a trivia question to send us off here, Jess.
Yeah, let's do it.
You ready? Can I
Yep.
do two? Do we have
Yeah, yeah,
time for
yeah.
two?
Got time
Okay,
for as
I
many as
got
you
you.
want, buddy.
All right. Who broke up at least 81 no-hitters with a home run?
Who broke up 81 hit no hitters with a home run? Like a
At
batter
least,
had
yes,
81 home runs?
81 home runs that took away a no-hitter from a pitcher.
One player?
Yes,
You're kidding me.
I'm not.
Is he current? He can't be.
He's not. He actually passed away in this last year, I believe.
Oh, I should know who passed away. I mean, that's an unbelievable stat. And I can't believe I've never heard of it before. No, I have no idea. I don't know who's passed away recently.
Do you mind if I give you the answer here?
Yeah.
By virtue of his 81 leadoff home runs, which occurred when the opposing pitcher had
Oh.
clearly not allowed a hit. Ricky Henderson.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think of that. I was like, no
I didn't.
way that's ever happened. Ricky Henderson,
Yeah,
that makes sense. Best leadoff hitter of
yes.
all time.
Yeah, I when I read the question initially too, I was like, what do you mean? That's insane. And then I didn't take into account leadoff home
How
runs.
many does Springer have? Like 50 something?
He has quite a few. He had a lot with the Stros, and I think he's probably what had 15 with the Blue Jays, maybe more.
He's got 65. He's not going to pass it in his career, but it's going to be awfully close.
Yeah. Are they one and two on the all-time list?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, and then I have one more for you.
Okay.
Which pitcher started the All-Star game, then played only one MLB game the rest of his career?
Was it due to injury?
Yes.
Tommy John, good old Tommy John himself.
That's a good guess. It is J.R. Richards. The Astros fireballer started the 1980 All-Star game for the National League before suffering a career-ending stroke soon afterward.
Well, not even baseball related.
Yeah. I don't I guess maybe injury isn't the correct.
No, yeah, I understand though. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Good trivia
Yeah.
questions. Okay, I want to do a little rapid fire with you now. MLB posted the top free agents available at every position based on WAR. I want you to
Okay.
give me a team just off the top of your head that they're going to end up on.
Okay.
JT Realmuto,
Pirates,
Pete Alonso,
Red Sox,
Willie Castro,
Twins.
love it. Miguel Rojas,
Say that again, sorry.
Miguel Rojas,
Dodgers,
Alex Bregman,
Tigers,
Rob Refsnyder,
Rangers,
Cody Bellinger,
Cubs,
Kyle Tucker,
Blue Jays.
Let's go. Kyle Schwarber.
Yankees,
Oh no. Dylan Cease
Astros,
and Edwin Diaz.
Mets.
I like it. All right. Fun little way to end the episode.
Yeah, for sure. It was always good chatting ball with you. Thanks to all the ball knowers who give us a chance and listen to the pod and interact on Twitter. We appreciate it.
Yeah, at Platoon Baseball on Twitter. You can find the audio podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. So we'll be back for the next one with Rito probably update you on all the tender candidates and hopefully some big free agent signings yet. It's been slow like always so far.
Yeah, as we get into December, we should see a little bit of a ramp up and then January for sure. So,
Yeah. And then we'll go back to doing some history episodes too, I'm sure. So
and then the spring will be upon us and
birds chirping.
we can start talking lineups, we can start talking pitchers and catchers report. Just gets me all excited.
Umpire scorecards are back. ABS
But
system. Oh, it's gonna
let's
be.
not get too far ahead of
Now we
ourselves.
got
We
like
got we
five more
got a
months.
bunch. We got 5 more months. We got free agency updates, history. We got a lot to go over before we get that first pitch. So,
All right. Sounds good. Talk to you next week.
peace.